we're looking at the world of wellness culture and how people often seek out so-called miracle diets in hope of curing their ailments. Jacqueline Allness was a college athlete who turned to extreme raw vegan diet that she saw online after doctors could not figure out what was causing her neurological issues.
She shares her story and what she has learned about these food fads in a new book, The Fruit Cure, the story of extreme wellness turned sour. And Jacqueline joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good to have you with us. Tell us briefly just about this weird health problem you had and why you would turn to the internet for a cure.
Sure. I think it's probably pretty relatable, weirdly enough. I think when we're lost for answers, all of us might turn to WebMD or to similar places to try to get answers if doctors aren't giving them to us. But yeah, I was a D1 college athlete. I was a runner, so I was very used to being in control of my body. And I started having neurological symptoms, which were I lost my memory. I lost my ability to speak in the way that I usually do.
Wow.
And so that was all really difficult to feel that sense of loss of control.
And has it been resolved, Jacqueline, since, but just to jump ahead, have you figured out what was causing the symptoms?
It has, yeah. I got to see a variety of doctors over the years who have given me answers and a treatment plan that did not come from the internet. So that is all well and
Wonderful.
good.
Well, tell us, I mean, you highlight, you say the fruit cure, but one of the first ones you heard about was this one where you eat 30 bananas a day or something like that?
Yes, you are correct. I found a website when I was at my most desperate. So I was sitting in my apartment every day just looking for an answer. And so I got to the point where I started typing in things like, what can heal me? What can cure me? And I found this website where, as you see on the screen, the founders, Harley and Leanne, who went by Durian Rider and Freely the Banana Girl, told their followers that if they ate 30 bananas a day or just ate raw fruit, they could heal themselves from anything. And so I never became a fruitarian, but I did become obsessed with the idea of if I could purify my body, I could heal myself from what had been ailing me.
And obviously it did not work.
Correct.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'm curious, do any of these people have any type of, are they dietitians? Or there's not, a lot of this is just not based on anything except their recommendation and they have no expertise.
You are exactly right. And I think for me, as someone who usually doubts and is very thoughtful, it's funny to think that I fell prey to this, which I think for me tells me that literally anybody could fall for something on the internet. I think it's because they use language that we might associate with doctors or with medical professionals or dietitians without having the credentials. And they sort of prey on this belief that we all might be exposed to in one way or another, where things are either good or bad, healing or unhealthy. I think we see this all the time on like labels on yogurt that says guilt-free, for example, as if there's anything to feel guilty about when you have a yogurt.
Yeah, none of us have training in nutrition, and yet all different kinds of media outlets for years peddle this through people like this. What should people be doing or not doing?
That's a great question. I think one thing I learned from the book is that anytime I find myself reaching for an extreme, or anytime I find myself saying this is all good or all bad, I ask myself to question it and to say, is that true? Where did that come from? And do I really believe in it? Because I think there's a lot of gray area in a lot of life, which is hard to hear, especially when you're sick. I think another thing is just asking, where did you get this information from? And is the person you're receiving it from, do they align with what you believe in? And do you want to take advice from them? So I think that's another good question to ask.
So Jacqueline, did it get to the point where you brought this stuff to your doctor and you're like, would this help? Because they say it would, and they're like, no, no, no. I mean, is there any repercussions for any of these people peddling this stuff?
No, and that's the difficult thing. And I get into that in the book where I think it's so complicated, especially in the era of everything being online, that there aren't many restrictions on YouTube or Instagram or the internet in general in terms of what people can post and what they can claim they have as their credentials. And so I think that's really a gap that exists. That means people can kind of sneak through and prey on others' vulnerabilities. So yeah, and I never took it to my doctors. I just kind of on my own thought about it.
The other part of this story is about student athletes. And listen, as good an athlete as a Division I athlete might be, 99% of them are not turning professional or going to the Olympics, and even more true for high school. And yet coaches seem to be pushing these kids, and the practices go on forever. And is there anybody watching out for these athletes?
I think that there are gaps that exist. I'm a professor now, and I teach student athletes, and I always ask them, whether they think they have spaces where they can really honestly say, like, I can't do this, or I don't feel like this is the best for my body. And as much as we try to have things in place that help athletes, there's always little gaps where people can experience harm and experience coaching practices that maybe aren't going to suit them in the long term. I think to counter my previous points about social media being harmful, it is really heartening to see how social media is being used by young athletes today. A lot of people are speaking out about things that they're going through in their programs, and they're finding community in that. And so for me, that's something I wish I would have had back when I was in college.
Well, Jacqueline's website, it'll be on the screen, and you can follow her on Instagram. The name of the book is The Fruit Cure. Thank you so much, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Have a great day.
Time now for On
You
Time.
too.